Good afternoon, Stewarts. This is Time Tunnel TV. As you know, earlier this year, Stewart London was terrorised with the screech of the bubonic plague. However, people are still suffering in this disease-ridden town, causing more people to turn to death, not by choice but through the force of being sick. From the 19th of September to the 26th, around 7,165 people died. That's just in 1 week, adding to the vastly growing 100,000 death toll of people who have already died from the disease in London. But before the news report, we will have a performance from Liv Queenie.
Baby, can you see I'm calling? A guy like you sure a warning. You're dangerous and I'm falling. There's no escape, I can't wait. I need a hit, baby, give me it. You're dangerous and I'm loving it. I'm too high, I can't come down. Losing my head, spinning round and round. Do you feel me now? Taste of your lips, I'm on a ride. You're toxic, I'm slipping under with that taste of your poison. Paradise, I'm addicted to you, don't you know that you're toxic? And I love what you do, don't you know that you're toxic? There's no escape, I can't wait. I need a hit, baby, give me it. You're dangerous, I'm loving it. I'm too high, I can't come down. Losing my head, spinning round and round. Do you feel me now? Taste of your lips, I'm on a ride. You're toxic, I'm slipping under with that taste of your poison. Paradise, I'm addicted to you, don't you know? Know that you're toxic, intoxicate me now with your loving now. I think I'm ready now, I think I'm ready now. Intoxicate me now with your loving now. I think I'm ready now, I think I'm ready now.
Welcome back, Stewarts. Tonight we have a special guest joining us, a doctor even, and he will educate you to treat your fellow Stewarts at home and answer some questions. However, he doesn't want to be named, so may I introduce one of the great plague doctors. But first, here is the news report. And here he is, ready to answer all of our questions. The Plague Doctor. You on time?
As always.
It's great to have you on the show.
Great.
Just have a seat. So, we'll get started. Obviously, we won't be naming you on the show for anonymous reasons. How does it feel? Obviously, being a plague doctor, it's your job to treat patients, but they never get better. What does that feel like?
Well, when I first started with the order, it was difficult. But after you've treated over thousands and thousands of patients, the pain gets easier to deal with.
Yeah.
And I've saved a fair few from death.
Yeah. Good. Do you ever worry that you'll get sick yourself? Or do you feel that mask is enough to protect you?
Well, I have been working with the sick for many years now, and I have never suffered any symptoms myself. I've never suffered any symptoms myself.
Okay.
And the reason I carry the staff is to keep the infected, because there are stages, you see. So when someone is beyond my help, I cannot go near them. They're too infectious.
Yeah. So that's the pure reason for the stick then.
Exactly.
That was actually one of the questions we were asked
Oh, really?
by the viewers at home.
Yes.
Is there a different way that you would treat patients depending on how infected they are?
Well, yes. Because the further along the line they go, the more infectious it gets. The boils, the warts. It's a bad stage, but the earlier you catch the disease, the easier it is to treat, you see.
Yeah.
There is a point that, where you know they are too far gone, and you cannot treat them.
Is there a certain level that they would get to where you wouldn't go near them?
Yes.
Or does that not matter? Would you?
Yes, I have had some very, very serious cases before. I mean, I have seen things that most people have never seen. And when it comes to treating the ill, I take it as a responsibility to myself.
Okay. Now, we've mentioned it a couple of times already on the show, but 700, it says here, 7,165 people died in 1 week from the plague. How does that affect your reputation?
I mean, obviously, you can look back at the reputation as it doesn't look good, but at the same time, name me another order of people that go out there helping the sick.
No, yeah, it's very admirable.
Exactly.
Yeah. So all the uniform then, is it really necessary? Like, really necessary?
Well, the mask, I mean, not only...
This is just ridiculous.
Well, it's not ridiculous.
No.
It's not ridiculous. It's iconic. I feel it's more of a badge or a suit of armour. When someone sees me, they know I'm a brave.
So would you say that's more what it's for then than for the actual protection? It's
I
more
mean,
so that people know that you're...
Well, yes. Well, yes, I would say so. I mean, there are benefits from wearing this, but at the same time, it does limit my visualization, and also it hides my identity.
Okay. So back to your patients. Do you treat them differently depending on their age, the sex, or the gender? Like.
Yes. Well, we were told during the order
Okay,
when I was
thing.
first trained, the women and children first. Because obviously men are stronger. It's biologically correct in every animal race. The male is stronger.
Yes.
And
okay, I'm going to stop you there, but we'll be back with you soon.
right.
On the news tonight, we finalised the numbers of how many people, how many Stuarts have died in September. It was up to 7,000 people in 1 week. We show you what the plague does to you and how you can stop it. We also have a documentary to show you just what the plague doctors do.
A plague doctor is a special medical physician who treats those who have had the plague. They are specifically hired by towns that has many plague victims in times of epidemics. Since the city is paying their salary, they treat everyone, both the rich and the poor. However, some plague doctors are known for charging patients for their families extra for special treatments and or false cures. They are not normally professionally trained, experienced physicians or surgeons, and are often second-rate doctors unable to otherwise run a successful medical business, or young physicians trying to establish themselves. Most doctors have avoided this epidemic by moving to the countryside, but some doctors have stayed to help the poor and want to help solve this epidemic. True good-hearted doctors have made the effort to risk their own lives in order to help the sick, wearing leather and cloth in order to help them from getting sick themselves. They can help the poor. However, it's not just down to the plague, it's due to poor living conditions that everyone is living in. Back-to-back houses, no bins, rubbish and human waste thrown on the streets, whilst there is up to 3 families living in just one slum. This epidemic enrolls more infections and diseases to crawl around the atmosphere of death. Not only are people, children, dying of the plague, but suffering from diseases like smallpox at the same time. At this state, it's not safe to walk in the street with blood being coughed, sneezed, or even fallen on you. Doctors wear leather masks and gloves so when they are treating a patient they can touch the sick nor breathe it in. They wear long beaks on top of their masks full of fresh scented flowers in order to cleanse the air that they are breathing in. They also wear glass eyes in their uniform in order to keep their eyes from being open to the disease. They wear very thick and long gowns so their flesh isn't absorbing the disease. They also carry a long stick in the street so they can keep the sick away from them. Last but not least, they wear a leather hat in order to protect their heads from the infection. Many believe that the disease spreads by a colourless cloud. Many believe that they have sinned and they have to pay back, and some others believe that it was the bad smells that caused the disease. Although even the doctors don't have much knowledge about it, they try their best in order to cure it. The doctor's cure were to cleanse the air with smoke. However, some families are giving it to their children to smoke because rumour has it that it will keep them pure and clean from the disease. They would then give the sick patient laxatives in order to empty the bowel so it can cleanse their body. However, most of the time this treatment fails, and as the sicker patient gets a higher dosage they have to take. This can cause the body to turn into dehydration, and the patient will then pass away as there is not enough water to drink in the slums. Another cure is to wrap the patient in mercury and put them inside a burning oven in order to sweat out the disease. If a patient has a minor infection, they give the patient hot drinks instead of taking drastic measures, as mercury can poison the blood of a person and burning them can cause boils and bad burns.
Hope you enjoyed our documentary. We are going to go for some adverts now, but see you soon. Don't go anywhere.
Mum, where's my uniform?
Mum, my tooth fell out.
Mum, there's no hot water left.
Linda, where are my car keys?
Ow! Mum, Teddy just hit me.
I'll be
be there in a minute.
Hello, can I be your friend?
No, sorry. Whoa, hold on. You seem a lot cooler than before.
Well, I've just bought a Fanta.
That's fantastic.
Alright guys, if you finish what you're doing, you can pack up and leave.
Welcome. Just come in to me. So we're back with the Plague Doctor. We gathered questions from the newspaper column we set up in the Stuart Times of what the public want to ask you. Are you ready?
Yes.
Right. So like come back to you now from the questions from before.
Mhm.
Now people believe that there's potions out there that can cure the plague. Do you believe in them, and do they work?
So, for a potion to, come
Mm.
about and to be used so widely, it must have worked at some point. But there are some very strange remedies that I have used in my time, as
Mm.
in those times where long by medical science was in the experimental stage,
Yeah.
as it is not now. One of the remedies was mercury. We used to
Yeah.
wrap mercury round the wounds, but yes, we realised that mercury is poisonous to
Mm.
humans, so a lot of deaths were caused because of that. We used to use the blood of a dead pigeon.
Oh, really?
It was said that an animal that can fly
Mm.
had such an ability that we did not have, so surely its blood
Yeah.
must have it, but no, that just made the infection worse. We actually found that burning boils and warts off the patient usually works the best, but in most cases,
Yeah.
the patient would die of shock. I mean, have you ever thought of a remedy to deal with such an epidemic on this scale?
I haven't. No.
No, it's
No.
a very difficult task.
Yes, it is. How did they catch the pigeons? 'Cause, I mean, it's very. I imagine that's a difficult task.
Yeah,
Unless you're standing on Castle Street waiting for them to to crash land.
we used to shoot them usually, but then you used to have, because companies would make money off the pigeon blood,
Yes.
and you would not know where the pigeon blood has come from. So, for example, maybe a pigeon was infected with the plague,
Yeah.
and they're giving it to the sick and injured. It was hard times.
Can you talk to me a bit about like how the plague started? Because I mean, it's been around before.
Well, there
As
are
you know.
many tales of how it started. It was across the sea
Yeah.
in Europe, and it was rats on boats. They used to, infiltrate the boats, infect all the food.
Yeah.
During the Stuart era, which we lived in, times in Britain and cities were overpopulated, dirty, living conditions were not good.
Have you heard tales of how they got rid of the plague last time? Because I mean, have you not thought if it's been removed before, it can happen again?
Well, it can, but it's like, as I was talking before with the remedies.
Yeah.
It's all trial and error.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of medical science is to this day, to the present day. I mean, I haven't been around for some years today, but towards the end of the plague, the reason mainly that it died out was because there was too few people for it to infect now.
Yeah, it just wiped out
exactly
people. Because there's been a rumour that King Charles is planning on setting the City of London on fire.
City of London, the great city.
The great City of London, in fact, it would be a great fire of London. But the
great fire.
That's the
of
rumour. What
London.
do you think of that? In an attempt to abolish the plague.
Attempt to abolish plague. I mean,
would it be worth it?
It would work, but so many lives would die. And when I took my oath to treat the sick, no matter what, I don't see the point. I thought that us doctors and King Charles should agree. I remember when I treated him, when he had the plague, he should think of others.
Yeah.
But it would not surprise me.
No.
Would not surprise me from that man.
Right. So, if I was to tell you that in many years' time it will happen, will you be out of a job if the plague is cured?
If I'm not killed myself with the fire. But yes, I mean, I don't know whether I could go into...
That's all we have time for, unfortunately. But thanks for coming on the show today. It's been a pleasure having you here.
Anytime, my dear son.
For our last performance, we are going to see Liv Queenie performing again. But before that, as some of you may be aware, that this is the last ever Time Tunnel TV. It has been running for 20 years since Andrew Percival and Steve Lahan's spaceship crashed down, and they built this studio with their bare hands. We hope you've enjoyed the show, and fingers crossed it returns in the future. Thank you, and good night.
Well, sometimes I go out by myself and I look across the water, and I think of all the things what you're doing, and in my head I paint a picture. 'Cause since I come on home, where my body's been a mess, and I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. Won't you come on over, stop making a fool out of me? Why don't you come on over there?